everyone, what's up? Welcome to Quest for Player 2 on this Tuesday evening. I am LT, and
I am Daniel, a.k.a. Battlestar Galactica, a.k.a. the Purveyor of Petty, a.k.a. the Intergalactic Instigator, and we are here.
You didn't do your signature holla at your boy.
I know, I just wanted to...
You threw it out the door this week. You threw it out the door.
I'm sorry.
We're changing things up.
Things are getting changed!
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. We are sorry that we missed last week, but we are talking Little Shop of Horrors this week.
That's right.
Super excited. This is such a good musical.
It is a great musical.
We were focusing on the musical movie version of this
right.
as opposed to the old school.
Yeah, instead of the old school, like the 1963, whatever.
Numbers.
We're going with 1986. The one that everyone knows, one that everyone usually does indeed love. So here's a quick breakdown, which I love because you're the one that actually facilitated or gave this breakdown.
Yes.
But Guy meets Wingman. Wingman helps Guy to get fame, fortune, and love, but at what cost? Be careful what you wish for. Some friends will literally try to suck you dry. And that's exactly what we're talking about today.
And we are referring mostly to our friend Seymour.
That's right.
And to his bestie best plant, Audrey too.
Bravo. That's exactly
Seymour is in love with Audrey.
Oh,
Audrey kind of loves Seymour, but Audrey is also dating crazy dentist, sadist man. Oren.
The dude's definitely not a great guy to talk to, not someone you actually want to deal with.
Unless you're Bill Murray. If you're Bill Murray in this, you absolutely love him. He wants it more.
You're a masochist at that point. Yeah, that's all. It's just like, yes, hey, do you like to give pain? Sure. Well, then sign on up and let's get this done. I mean, that's what you're looking for at that point, right? But honestly, did we send out the notification saying that we're live? And I didn't. No.
Daniel's the only one watching. All right. Well, this is gonna be a really weak show. We are so used to having
It's probably just this thing, the way it's loaded and everything.
It is hard. We are having technical difficulties. If you could give a shout out to producer Shay this week, because producer Josh is fighting fires in Santa Rosa.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, he's not fighting them. He's actually running away from them coming back for the week. Fire. Yes.
And actually, headed to another fire. So that's exactly where he'll be going. Oh, okay, see, it's popping up. It's just taking a little bit. Sorry, guys. Just looking to make sure that you guys are getting the video, sound, blah, blah, blah. You clearly are. So let's continue on.
All right. So what do we got for our Little Shop of Horrors and our friend Seymour, who really just wants to help keep the shop open, wants to get Audrey, wants to have a little fame and notoriety.
He wants his cake and he wants to eat it too, essentially, and nothing's wrong with that. I mean, what's the point of getting a cake if you're not going to eat it? You don't buy a cake to look at it. So I hate when people say that phrase, your cake and eat it too. I'm like,
I would only get a cake if I were
I'm like, why would I want to have a cake and not eat it? You're weird. You're awkward. Get away from me. People are starving. But the themes of this film are something that...
Wilson is saying that the notification did not go out.
No, notification didn't go out.
Ooh.
Hey, I got it.
Okay.
I did not. That's why I was like, I didn't.
Nope.
I don't know. All right. But overindulgence, desire, and temptation. So those are pretty much like some of the themes that come on throughout the film.
Agree.
There are others, of course.
There's a lot. We're going to focus on the relationship aspects of all of this.
But the thing is, originally, the film, just give me a little history of it. It originated as a movie shot within 2 days by Roger Corman. And it was released in 1960 with a budget of only $23,000.
And that is a version I actually never have seen. You told me about it. It's super interesting. But
I mean, that's the crazy thing about it. And some things about that movie that were really interesting.
Larry Newbill, I'm going to cut you off because thank you so much for that super chat, Larry Newbill. Wearing Ella shirt and praying for California. So you are repping the Teabaggers today. Thank you so much.
Bravo.
You got Battlestar Galactica on Sunday, get the Tuesday.
We definitely do appreciate it. The Teabaggers need their support.
It's true.
And
thanks
definitely
for praying.
we need to pray for California. We're burning on both sides. I don't know what's happening here in California.
It's a little bit of hell on earth for certain
pretty much
cities in this area. It's not great, man.
People are like, oh my God, what is that a scene from Constantine? No, that's just a valley.
Yeah.
It's all burning and it's dangerous. And then later, when it rains, we'll have houses falling down.
Yep,
California is possibly not the best place to live.
And especially when that giant earthquake is supposed to hit, then we will not exist anymore. So please, thank you so much for that super chat to help fund us and hopefully build us some rafts when,
That's true.
The big one hits.
Unfortunately. But going on, hey, what's going on, Thomas Franco? But going on with the film, just giving you guys a little bit of tidbits concerning the original film.
The original,
1963. Did you know it was Jack Nicholson's first on-screen appearance?
Wait, really?
Yes, it was.
Was he Audrey?
He was the guy. No, he was the guy who played. Bill Murray played this part later.
Oh, Jack that's Nicholson's actually really good. That is a good
I gotta
role for
send
him.
you. I gotta send. It's on YouTube. You guys can find it. It's like public domain film. And he shows up and he's like, "Hey, how you doing? I would like to. You're the doctor, aren't you?" And he's like, "No, I'm not." Hold on, let me see if I can find him. Oh, okay, because I got an appointment and I really need to get these things taken care of.
Nice.
And he's really creepy and really weird and sneaky.
Mike Tyson.
That's it. No, that's how I don't sound like Mike Tyson. I had no lisp when I did any of that. You're really bad with impressions or even spotting names.
I'm really good at impressions. I should do it from now on.
She is pretty good at them.
If you've ever seen the Retro Ranger wrap up, I've done a few, and
she does. But I'm telling you, that's exactly how he was. He was like, "Oh, well, that's interesting, and I would love to see what you can do with this one." It's really creepy and weird. Oh God, Larry
Newbill, thank you for another super chat. We have rain and snow here right now. Like last week for us, it was 95 degrees, and it's finally a little bit overcast, and now we have fires.
Yeah. So hey, we're always.
55 at night.
Yeah.
55 at night. That's right. It's completely awkward here in California. It's burning hot where you're having like summer weather. You want to hit the beach while you're at work, and then when you get home, all you want to do is cuddle, snuggle, or drink alcohol. Usually
true.
It's just the last one.
People say global warming isn't real, but you don't live here in SoCal.
Very true. Now the film itself was a dark comedy, more of like what I said. I wrote in my notes, more of a Faustian edge.
Makes sense.
Now, for a lot of people who don't know what Faust is, Faust was just
you
what
sell your soul
there you go.
to the devil for knowledge and all this other stuff, and for a certain amount of time. But
pretty much, the monkey's paw. Oh, all right, I'm going to make this wish, but something bad's going to happen ultimately in the end. But you get what you wanted. Be careful what you wish for. That's pretty much what we got.
And that's what Seymour does. Pretty much.
Unfortunately, yes. Now, after that, in 1982, it became a musical. And the musical was written by Alan Menken.
Oh, I love Alan Menken.
Howard
Bless his heart.
Exactly, right?
If you've ever seen Disney movies, any of your favorite songs definitely were done by Alan Menken.
Exactly.
Little Mermaid, Aladdin.
Oh my God. Any of them were always there. So that's why it's always a thing where it's like, this became so huge because Alan Menken is just the man with the words.
Yeah.
He knows how to put any song together and you'll love it.
It's so good.
It is. It works so well. So they made it and it became a huge cult classic off Broadway. Everyone loved it until 1986, and the film was created. And so that's where we get to what we're talking about now with, once again, this movie. Now, it's been a long time. Since a lot of people have seen it.
Yes.
Some of you guys must have had to work hard, scrap around to even see it, or you're just like, I remember it, and that's about it. If that's fine, that's good for you. Don't worry about it.
It should be pretty iconic. It's really fun. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into the relationships and probably into a little bit of the plot just to clear things up.
Exactly.
So if you haven't seen it, no worries. Please stick around. If you have any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll answer them.
Yeah, we'll bring them down for you. No problem. With this movie, I was talking to you last week earlier this week, or Sunday last week, right?
One of these days.
Whatever. I was talking to you and I had a whole what if idea.
Yes.
About Little Shop of Horrors. Now, guys, if you guys don't know, so once again, what's his name?
Seymour
finds a plant, looks like a Venus flytrap or whatever like that.
Or piranha plants from Mario.
There you go.
Ever seen those
it looks
babies?
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
And it starts to, just kind of sit there and it looks great. It looks cool.
He brings a lot of customers in. Very interesting. Business is good.
But the thing is, then after a while, it stops growing, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. What does it need? He tries to give it feed. He gives it water. He gives it this. He gives it that. And then finally, he's like, "I'm giving you everything." Blah, 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 and he cuts his finger, and he's like, "Even if I give you blood," and immediately that's what it needs.
Perks
starts
up.
feeding it blood, and it starts to grow. Of course, even bigger.
Yeah.
And now, of course, bringing more people in. Business is booming. Everything's going well. And then after that, it starts to talk.
Seymour, feed me.
It starts to talk, and we start to figure out that it's like, well, I need more blood, and he has no more blood left. You know, and he's like, all right, I'm down to bones here. You got to let me at least heal up, and he can't. So then with that being the case, it's just kind of like, what else is there to do besides what everyone else is going to think?
Yes.
Pretty much kill someone.
Yeah. I mean, he's running out of options. And, like, this plan is his wingman. It is the one bringing business in. Like, you know, Audrey's like, hey, yeah, things are cool. Relationship building. Plan is doing a really good job. I got to keep Plan alive. Plan's keeping me, you know,
employed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Shoot. So, yeah, I'm going to try to do as much as I can. And while he tries, wait, what? Movie adaptation of Little Shop of Horrors. I understand there is a remake of it, if I'm not mistaken. There isn't a remake. There is a remake in process right now, being written by Matt Robinson, who is also the director of Ricky Gervais' film called, what is that movie called?
I don't know.
Invention of Lying.
Oh.
And he also wrote the treatment for the new Tom Cruise movie coming out where Live, Die, Repeat, whatever that movie was. He's writing the treatment for part 2. Edge of Tomorrow. He's writing the treatment for part 2. He also wrote that Dora movie. He does a lot of writing.
Edge of Tomorrow 2.
But yeah, so it is in the process of being remade. I don't know if it's going to be able to do as well.
I only know that because I know Matt. That's the only reason I know any of that. But yeah, still, nonetheless, so the plant, pretty much, as you said before, is a wingman. And there's a moment where he's introduced to the woman that inspired the plant. And we have a super chat.
Thanks again, Larry Newbill. Third time's a charm. I heard y'all going to be in the cast. That would be great.
That would be dope.
Who would you play? Who would you play in Little Shop of Horrors?
I could do a Seymour.
You can do Seymour.
Yeah, right. A mushnick. I could be the dentist.
I was gonna say that would be
dentist.
I feel like we would be dentists and I would be Bill Murray, and I think, as far as that hashtag show is concerned, I feel like that would be our bit.
That would be it. Oh my god, that would be perfect. Yeah. I would love that.
I'm actually surprised you didn't say you would be Audrey too.
I've thought about it.
The songs are so good. The lines are so good.
Oh my god!
I really thought you were gonna say you were gonna be Audrey too, but
it's supper time. Yeah. It's supper time. You guys need to look up the songs for this. After you start to hear them, this is going to be all you're singing for a while. Trust me. Alan Menken knows what he's doing. He writes nothing but earworms and boom, 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 boom. So, back to the movie. Just giving you guys a whole brief breakdown. So what?
Can I play the Steve Martin role?
But we were just talking about that. Producer
dentist.
Shay, are you listening?
He's too busy building. He's building the show. He's working hard to build the show.
Well,
so he's like, I can start trying to get him.
I also
the dentist. Oh.
Yeah, that's what we said. Dear God. Okay, never mind. I tried to give him. I tried.
You did. You did.
I'm sorry. You're wrong. Bad Shay. Bad. Still love him though. Yeah, right. Who's Shay? Shay is our producer, guys. So
until Josh comes back,
right, and then after that, Shay will be talented again for like whatever a bunch of other shows. So with that being the case, it's true. He will be It'll be a sci-fi show. It will be Star Wars. It will be that Shay will be doing a bunch of stuff back to normal. So moving on. Audrey is introduced. Audrey is our love interest, and
who is dating the dentist originally, but also has a little bit of a crush on Seymour, and Seymour definitely likes her too.
The puppetry for Audrey too is freaky as heck. Looking at that thing just makes my skin crawl. Frank Oz did a great job with it. Now remember, Frank Oz is also the voice of Yoda and did the puppeteering for Yoda and a lot of other things in Star Wars. So Frank Oz, once again, great. He was the man who actually also directed the film. So that was big.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was big. Moving on from it, so now we know that Seymour is digging Audrey, but we also know that Audrey can't fully dig Seymour because she's dating somebody that's horrible. Orrin, the dentist. Steve Martin's role. And this is the problem with Steve Martin. Steve Martin is, he's a toxic individual. I mean, he's a physical abuser.
Yes.
He definitely gets high on his own supply. After the
that nitrous oxide is definitely like, I mean... He's having a good time.
Exactly.
He's having a good time.
Very true. And then after that, we also have the fact that he treats Audrey like crap. He's horrible. He's a mean guy all the way around. So
it is definitely an abusive relationship, and you get the sense from Audrey that she just can't leave, won't leave. And we talked about some kind of toxic, abusive relationships in previous shows, and.
All the signs are there. All the red flags are there. As far as like, we'll go into it actually because there's some parts for the relationship portion that we really want to go into. But definitely, all the signs are there, and we'll discuss some of them there.
Actually, most of the relationships in this particular movie are toxic.
All of them, I feel.
Yeah, because even Seymour is going after a chick that is. Unavailable, pretty much emotionally unavailable, and even between Martin's character and Bill Murray's character, that is that sadist masochist relationship.
Definitely,
that can definitely go overboard. They don't have any of the rules written down.
Mr. Mushnick also, this manipulative guy who clearly loves and enjoys the power dynamic and makes sure that he can put Seymour down.
And even our plant Audrey too is incredibly incredibly like parasitic, incredibly So this movie shows you all kinds of types of relationships that you do not want in your life.
Exactly.
But man, this movie is great and fun.
Oh, so good, so good. But it really gets the time to really break everything down. But so Audrey ends up getting in Seymour's ear, saying, "Well, look, he beats her. He's a bad guy. Looks like plant food to me." So he goes over there to kill him, and when he pulls the gun to go and fire at him, it's a waste of time because what's his name is already OD'd essentially off of the nitrous oxide. So bad guy, bad choices, and he ends up dying for it. Then after that, we go on to, he feeds it to Audrey grows, and then it becomes a whole race of continuously feeding Audrey. So who else do I have to do? What else do I have to kill? Blah, blah, yada, yada. Looking for people to kill or murder. Interesting thing, in the 1963 version, when it gets to that point, what Audrey does, she opens up, and it's like spores kind of go out and brainwashes Seymour. So now Seymour's like a
Audrey
zombie.
2 actually does have,
Audrey 2, has
like a very specific like it's like a physical thing, not just like
originally that's how it was written. So it opens up, spores come out, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and then it's like, "Find me food." "Yeah, master," and he goes off.
Oh, interesting. I kind of like it when Seymour has more agency, though, like where he makes the poor choices on his own.
I have something about that. I'm talking about that, but that's very true. So let me go through the other deaths. Next is Mr. Mushnick. Mr. Mushnick tries to pretty much capitalize on the plant and get rid of Seymour, so he doesn't have to cut a check or anything with Seymour.
Yeah, even though this is technically Seymour's special plant, he's the one that brought it into the shop. Put it in the window. He's the one bringing in all the customers. So
so then immediately that's what happens.
And as a viewer, we're kind of okay with this.
We are, because the thing is,
we're on Seymour's side.
Once again, the thing is, Seymour didn't do the killing.
Yeah.
And Seymour didn't want to do it, even though Audrey's like saying, like, now he knows our secret, we're going to have to do something, blah, blah. All he did was like, you know what, I'm going to listen to Mr. Mushnick, I'm going to go ahead and get out of town, I'm just going to leave. And then Mushnick, even to drive the point further, keeps kind of, pushing him with the gun, and then tells him, now you need to leave town, blah, blah. And then you realize, oh my God, you're just saying this so you can take over. So now, and Mr. Mushnick does not feel bad about it. No. He's just pushing him, and he's going to do it.
He's not a great guy. No. Like, so far, we're kind of like Black Mirror episodes, we're like, we're okay with these deaths. It doesn't really impact us.
He falls right in. Audrey eats him. And then finally, we get a death that we did not expect, or were not, an attempted death or a death. It depends on the ending.
It really depends. So the movie, this particular movie, has two different endings. There was one that was the theatrical ending.
Yes.
And there was the real ending.
That's right.
So the real ending is what they showed to test audiences, and the test audiences were like, no way. This ending is terrible. We cannot have it. So after that, they filmed this whole other separate ending that is a lot more lighthearted and happy, as opposed to the utter, complete, ridiculous chaos that actually was supposed to happen and is, in my opinion, the true and better ending.
Wait, so your ending is the happy one?
No, my ending is the one where the plants dominate.
Good.
That is my ending. And
that is okay.
Based
off
of all the actions of these people, these
terrible people. Oh
that
my God.
ending is the only true ending that
That's
here
true.
on Quest for Player 2 that we can get behind. That is the only righteous justification for everything else that happens in this movie. We cannot let Seymour have a happy ending. He is not a great guy either. Even though we are rooting for our main protagonist, in real life, I would hope that plants dominate his world.
I agree. Because the whole thing is like, all right, Audrey is in an abusive relationship with Seymour.
Yes.
And Seymour is kind of under the thumb of an abusive person, or a supposed father figure when it comes to Mushnick already.
Yes.
And then here comes Audrey to just swoop in and also do these things to him. Now, all the people that died up to a point deserve their death. Once again, Seymour did not pull the trigger and kill the dentist. The dentist killed himself. Once again, poor choices lead to poor outcomes. So that's what he's getting. Bad choice, bad outcome. That's how he dies. Then after that, Mushnick made a poor choice by going against and trying to push Seymour into this kind of thing.
Yeah, and the thing is, Audrey 2 needs Seymour to feed him. So, I mean, I guess that one is a little more of a symbiotic relationship at that particular point. But also, Seymour is completely complacent in all of these. He has to know he's a grown man. You know, maybe he doesn't have to know. That's giving him too much credit. But he is obviously being manipulated by this parasitic plant and leading him into a course of action. Maybe it's not him, but he is still kind of complacent in these deaths. Complicit in these deaths.
Yes. And it's very true. So he still does deserve a death that is fitting for someone that was...
Yeah, or some kind of comeuppance. He definitely needs a comeuppance. And as you were saying, our third death that we would like to talk about, and this is...
this is
what needs to happen.
Audrey. Yeah, exactly. So this is in our ending. Audrey gets a phone call from Audrey 2. She goes down to the shop because she's shocked and trying to figure out what's going on.
Seymour?
Exactly. So she goes down and Audrey 2 pretty much says, look, I'm hungry and now I'm not playing around anymore. You need to go and I'm going to eat you. And goes ahead and eats her. Seymour runs in, finds her legs kind of hanging out, but she's already been kind of chomped. He pulls her out and she says, well, now I'm dying.
Yep.
And you know what? Still, even though I'm dying, I want to be part of your dream that you wanted because I love you this much.
Yep.
Blah blah. This level of sacrifice.
Yep.
And this way,
half as much now.
yeah, pretty much. Not even half as much. He's completely dead. That was a horrible joke. So then after that, boom, she dies and is sacrificed over to Audrey 2, and then of course Seymour gets upset.
But the thing is, this is why he thought it was okay to have these other people die. And I feel like his comeuppance is seeing the thing that he loves. Devour kind of the other thing that he loves. And when you live this kind of life where you're playing on the fence and you don't take control of your own life, of your own actions and what you want, and you let things just kind of happen to you, and you're, bad shit's gonna happen.
It's
just
true.
like in relationships, you need to have open communication. He should have been upfront with Audrey, being like, "You're in an abusive relationship. I don't want you to do this. I care about you a lot." And of course, it's gonna be hard. She might not leave him. She might not leave Steve Martin's character, the dentist.
But here comes that stupidity of just, I'm so worried about it, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I don't say anything because I need to kind of continue with this farce, this thing that's going on. Thomas, we're not going to talk about your current situation. Not on this episode. Sorry. But the thing is, in the happy ending, Seymour never faces the consequences.
Yeah, there was no consequences for him being kind of just like a passive figure in his own life. We always talk about agency. We always talking about like taking responsibility for what you want and your actions and how you're going to pursue them. I don't think Seymour deserves to have a happy ending where he gets to marry Audrey and have the white picket fence and everything is A-okay.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, like, and that's why I love the original ending that the play had and everything like that, where everyone dies.
And Audrey, too, dominates, basically takes over the entire world, makes all the spores, has all these little offsprings, and
because right after Audrey 1 dies, he goes up to the roof because he was going to commit suicide.
Yeah.
And when he's going to go ahead and commit suicide, the guy shows up and says, "Hey, we actually have made we take clippings, and now we're going to make Audrey 2's and send them around the world," which was Audrey 2's plan. So that's what Audrey 2 always wanted. So that's how it was able to work so well. And then with that happening, he goes back downstairs and says, "You know what? Fine, I'm going to go ahead and kill Audrey." So he goes down there to try to kill Audrey. Audrey knows that she's going to die and says, "Oh, really? You? Oh, well, that's it." Pretty much beats him and just swallows him, and he dies too, which is a fitting death because after all the deaths and everything else that he's done, he deserves to die. In the original film, very interesting because what happens is Audrey 1 isn't like, she doesn't get eaten. It's Mushnik does. No, not Mushnik. This thief gets eaten. This guy comes in and tries to do something because Mushnik is a little bit different in the film.
Not so much of a jerk.
He's still a jerk, but he didn't do the whole thing of, all right, you're going to get out and blah, blah, yada, yada. But this thief comes in and Mushnik's like, "Oh, yeah. The rest of the money for everything is inside the plant. We hide it deep inside. You have to look." Guy looks in, plant eats him. So then there's this thing where they're having this kind of like, "Oh, we're going to look at these plants and you're going to win this award and it's going to be a big thing." So all these people come to look for the plant and there are these buds that have opened up and every bud has the victim's face. So then the police are like,
interesting. That is really freaking creepy.
It's like a Twilight Zone.
Really creepy.
It's like a Twilight Zone thing.
Yeah.
So then the cops look at it and they're like, see, look at that. Oh, okay, that's that guy. All right, now we know what's going on. And so then what's his name is freaking out and he's like, "Oh my God, now they're going to find out." So he runs off. Mushnik tries to cover for him. The cops still go out and run. Mushnik runs with them to try to slow them down so he can try to get Seymour out of town. Seymour comes back and says, "All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and kill you, Audrey," and jumps inside trying to kill Audrey. Audrey, of course, eats him. And then the last time the cops come back after trying to find him, and a bud opens up and he's like, I'm sorry. And it's like,
Seymour?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
But that's it.
Weird.
And then they're just like, wah, 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 blah, 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 and that's it.
Not as much fun as this one. If you want to do the ending of this one. But it really does show you, and I feel like the true ending where Audrey 2 takes over the planet is more fitting because it shows you what happens when you let a master manipulator into your life and control every aspect. If you're not willing to stand up to these people, they will destroy you. They will eventually, in any kind of case, may not be a physical, actual murder.
No.
But they are going to leave, emotional scars from now till the end of days.
Oh, yeah. And I'm glad that you brought that up because now going into the relationship portion, this film does kind of point out one thing that we should kind of pay attention to, which is kind of characteristics or kind of individuals to avoid. And they're all toxic. But it's really just some things that we've noticed through watching this that a lot of people happen to have these type of people in their lives and they never pay attention to it. First thing, just a rule up front before we even continue going any further, one thing that you should always keep in mind is never invest 100% in someone who only wants to go ahead and make sure they invest only 50% in you. If you're looking to push at 100, they need to push at 100.
Move over here.
No problem. I mean, that's something that definitely we want to give you that before you guys continue on. See that as a roadmap as we continue on moving on with this. Now, toxic manipulation.
But that's true because you don't want a parasitic relationship.
No.
Right? Relationships at its core should always be a 50-50.
Always. There's no question about it. And if it isn't, then that's where you have to kind of look at it and you're like, well, why is this happening? And that's something that we go into when we talk about toxic manipulators. Because remember, toxic manipulators will show you the most love when you are truly hurt. When you're at your lowest.
Or when you're about to leave.
Yep.
And it is that.
Yep. That's it.
Those kind of instances where they can be extremely nice. And the other person, the one being abused, will always be like, I want to get back to that place. I want to get back to that place. I know that you could be good. If I could just say or do the right things, he'll love me like that again. Or she'll love me like that again.
And that's something you got to watch out for. Because that happens all the time.
Yeah. And when the bad starts to outnumber the good, you really, I wouldn't say keep tallies, but in your head, you know when things are overall pretty terrible.
That's right.
I feel like. You cannot excuse behavior that manipulates you, that isolates you from your family and friends, that any kind of physical abuse, that is an immediate deal breaker. You need to get out.
That's very
Under
true.
any circumstances, if anyone raises a hand to you, that is not a relationship you want to be in.
No, not
You don't
at
want to
all.
be there when it escalates. It might just start as like throwing something at you, but that can escalate extremely quick.
Definitely.
Domestic abuse, domestic violence is never, ever a situation you need to be in. So with like Audrey too, the moment it's like, I need some blood, and Seymour is done, and he goes to find someone else, like, man.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's not right at all. And then, as you said, with physical abuse, that's when we start thinking about the dentist again. I mean, completely. That's exactly what's going on.
Oh,
there.
man.
And then, now, another portion that comes to toxic manipulators is one that a lot of people don't think about, but they do see it every once in a while, sometimes even in arguments. Toxic manipulators get uncomfortable with your level of success. They feel that it's almost, in a way, they have to truly belittle your achievements.
Yeah, and they want to keep you down. That's one of the things,
mushing.
like, if you have any sort of success, if you have any sort of, like, pride in something that you've done or get respect from others, they will do anything to break that, to take it away from you. So, like you said, Mushnik is a perfect example of that.
Perfect example of that. And now we fall into an area that kind of goes around for almost every character, because they may have a characteristic of this, but not actually be this, which is narcissism.
Yes.
Now
you kind of have to be narcissistic in order to be a manipulator. You believe you are better than anyone else, and that you know what is best for them.
Well, see, that's the thing. Okay, going into it right now. Here's a fact.
All right.
It is so overused that the DSM, the Diagnostic of and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM, has removed the word narcissism from its kind of repertoire.
Oh, really?
And it's because the whole thing is self-involvement and being about you is now a universal kind of thing. Self-help books, building yourself, you are better than this, because there's so many people that are always being torn down. There's not enough people that are actually working to build themselves, so they say. So they've taken this and moved it around.
So I do get that. Like the term, like, narcissist is very, like, self-centered versus narcissist in the sense of, like, building self-improvement.
Yes.
So there is... I get that dichotomy from that word. Okay.
And only 4% of individuals are clinically diagnosed as actually narcissists, because it's something that you should be diagnosed with. Now,
because it's like a narcissistic personality disorder, right? Where it's
yes,
there are ways, and, like, a lot of psychopaths and people that don't have empathy will check like multiple things, and it's not like a definite kind of thing. It's just
it's true.
There's a percentage of, like, hey, if you show these traits on a regular basis, there is a high percentage.
There's a high percentage. Now, even though, it is only 4% of individuals that get diagnosed with it, but there are so many individuals that may hold traits. Yes. And that's something that we have to go into when it comes to managing your expectations. And when I say that, just because someone talks a lot on, like, the first date, doesn't mean that they're definitely a narcissist. It could mean that they're just nervous.
It is true. And it is one of those things, like, when you are dating someone or on a first date with someone, the easiest thing to talk about when you don't know the other person is yourself.
That's right.
And it's one of those things, I feel like you cannot rub that off.
No.
Disregard that as just being a narcissist. It's a lot of jitters.
Yeah, now...
But if that is over the course of, like, multiple dates... And they don't ask you a single question.
Nothing! It's time to walk away and be like, all right, you're too much on yourself. Still, it doesn't mean they're narcissists. It just means that they may be indeed too focused. Yes. Now, one thing I wanted to do, because what we're trying to do is navigate and kind of point out the things about narcissism before we really get into what it is as far as what they do. But don't put elements of their behavior or incidents that, be slightly kind of just isolated incidents as looking at it as saying, oh my God, because of this one instance, they're a narcissist. Because of this one thing that happened. Just because, like, for example, if someone breaks up with you, you're not going to immediately say that they're a narcissist. Because just because I don't like you doesn't mean that, you know, I only like me.
Yeah.
That's it. So don't try to immediately throw that and mark and label
correlation, causation, whole issue. It is not one of those. I feel like you definitely do have to build up to that. And I think there is like a checklist online that you can kind of look to see and tick off these like little mannerisms that these people around you might have.
Because they're red flags, guys. They are definitely red flags. Now, having characteristics doesn't automatically make you, like we're saying right now, a narcissist. Like, for example, being drunk one night doesn't automatically make you an alcoholic. Nope. You know, it just means you made a bad decision.
Yeah.
But
multiple bad decisions or unconscious bad decisions, you know, it's just something that you're programmed. You can always switch it, but you need to be self-aware enough. And
That's
I feel
true.
like, so in this particular film, who is our primary narcissist?
I definitely still feel that it is indeed the dentist. I feel it's the dentist. Everything he did when he sung for that whole part, he says how his mother said how great he would be and how great he will actually become. He breaks into his office, and while he's still singing, he's not paying attention to anyone else's net pain versus his net gain. He's enjoying everything that happens to people as long as it's something that's working out well for him. First thing he does when he walks into the office, he punches his nurse.
That's true.
And then he just goes around singing and dancing.
It's so ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah, and we kind of laugh at it because it's just like, what is going on?
It's slapstick. It's funny. Yeah. But the thing is,
Steve
it's
Martin,
also...
which makes it, automatically. But man, if you take these out of context of this musical and this, like, if you saw that, you would be like, on the phone, like, I need to call someone. I need to call the cops.
Call my insurance first. Hey, can we get someone else inside the network? Okay, all right. Now I'm calling the cops. You know, that would be it. Like, no, I mean, I'd be worried, and I'm not down for it. But the thing is, the reason we can use him as an example of what a narcissist is, I have a little bit of a checklist, and that's what I was going to go with. Now, one, narcissists are overly confident. They're not just confident, they happen to be so confident that no matter what happens, it's always great and it's always about them. Even when it is bad, it's about them.
So that's why
it's
Seymour
their
doesn't
fault.
necessarily fall in this category where he is very like, I want what I want, I gotta feed this plant, this is everything, gonna help me get Audrey, get fame and everything else. But he actually does feel bad every single time. He's like, oh jeez, man, jeez, I wish this didn't happen.
That's right.
But yeah, no, they already did. So in the plant you go.
Yeah,
all right,
it was
so
like,
so Seymour doesn't necessarily in that particular case.
Not in this particular case.
Got it.
They do seem to be the master of their own world. It seems like everything that happens, like I said, once again, it revolves around them. It's about them. If you're in an argument with a narcissist, one thing a narcissist will definitely do, but this happens with a lot of people, but narcissists, after they get to a point where they know they're not winning, they will somehow make it where it's like, I'm outnumbered here in this situation, or they'll also point out something else and say how everything is their fault, and they're just wrong all the way around. And it's like, there's nothing I can do because everything I do is wrong, etc., etc.
Like a pity party kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They deflect, hit you with the pity, and hopefully you're going to be like, no, okay.
Yes, it's okay. It's not all your fault. Interesting. So that, again, that is Steve Martin's character. I wonder,
there's moments where you'll start to notice that it's not just Steve Martin, but some other people happen to be kind of...
Well, we see Mushnick for sure.
Mushnick definitely.
Definitely will fit all of these. Kind of a side character. We don't feel too bad for him, but...
The next one is something that works with Steve Martin and also with Audrey.
Oh.
So, they like the novelty of the chase. Even if they don't like you, they like the pursuit of you. There's a moment where she is still dating the dentist.
Yeah.
But she makes sure that Mushnick knows, that Seymour knows, hey, you can try to come on this side. There's, the door's open if you would like to. Just, I want you to chase me. She wanted to be chased by him even though she was still with her
Or
date.
is it that she genuinely liked Seymour and didn't know how to end the relationship with Steve Martin's character? with dentist.
Definitely, she was afraid to get out of the relationship.
Like she can't leave. Like, and especially being in an abusive relationship where like dentist had to slap her around more than a few times.
Oh yeah, yeah. But
and doesn't know how to leave and doesn't know how to articulate that. Well, wouldn't want to articulate it to him because he knows she's gonna get a beat down. But also really does. I feel like she does like Seymour though.
True.
The situation in which it arises where she's like, I'm kind of down to cheat. Don't necessarily like that, and I feel like that's a poor choice.
I agree, but the thing is, I think she planted the planted the seed for Seymour to still go ahead and make sure he was going to kill a dentist. I know that the Audrey did convince him, like, he sure looks like plant food to me, and he was on a rush at that moment. Yeah. But then he was still like, I'm not going to do it, and then he has a meeting with her, Suddenly Seymour. That's the song. And in the song, what she does is kind of say, you know, I would love it if he just happened to disappear. If he was gone,
well, because I feel like she needs agency in her life, but she doesn't know how to get around that. And I feel like a lot of people that are in any kind of abusive relationship, whether you're a child and it's your parents beating you, or in a romantic relationship, sometimes you do not know how to leave. And I'm going to go on a really quick tangent. I don't know how much time we have.
Oh, we got
but there was this really interesting case that came up with this young girl. Her name was Gypsy Rose, and her mother had Munchausen's by proxy.
Oh my God!
And this was a big thing, and it's in the news and incredibly interesting. So she was a young girl.
There's so many movies.
And her mother would purposely make her sick, tell everyone she was sick.
Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah, and do all these things. And Gypsy Rose just one day as a teenager realized, like, she could walk. Like, she didn't know because she was confined to a wheelchair for her entire life. She kind of do. There's other things where it's like, had cancer, had this, and there was nothing to back it up. And she did not know how to leave this abusive relationship. Got the boy that she was dating at the time to kill the mother. She didn't do it, but she was the one. Yeah, and the thing is, which is crazy, the boy is in jail.
Have you seen that movie? I mean, that show, Politician?
No.
On Netflix?
No. It's in there?
Kind of like, okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so good too. It's like a, whatchamacallit, Ryan show. Same dude that does American Horror Story.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's...
OC and everything else,
but it's still made for like, okay, television, blah, blah. It's really good. It's really good.
But it's super interesting. So when you see cases like this in real life where you have... Because the thing is, Gypsy Rose, she is not in jail.
I thought she was.
She was, but I think she's trying to get out. Like, all these celebrities and stuff are backing her, saying like she shouldn't be this. She's a victim of abuse. Like, she shouldn't be in there. And it is.
And the mindset in which she needs to feel that. And
it's worse because she was grown like this as a child. She did not know any better
until
way later. So,
but
it is one of those things where you can't victim blame, but at the same time, like, you need them to have a little bit of agency to be. It's a really fine line. Like, you never want... Like, I don't ever want to blame Audrey for her trying to maybe suggest to Seymour, hey, I need help to get out, but I don't know how to say this out loud without him coming after me.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So I don't know. I do get what you're saying, because, like, you know, the whole Gypsy Rose things where I'm like, I'm kind of on her side, but man, she's the one that definitely orchestrated this murder.
Oh, yeah. It's true. See, it's such
Thomas
a
Frankel. We'll see you on Sunday.
See you on Sunday. It's kind of back and forth. As far as in my head, it's a damn. It's kind of wibbly wobbly. Honestly, and
it's a case by case, and that's why we like to look at these movies, is because we could kind of take a step back. We could have like a good time with it, but when we apply it to real life, sometimes these things are muddled. Kind of like the whole narcissistic personality disorder. Like, we want self-help, but also we don't want to be self-centered. So. Fine lines with everything.
Now, here's something that's interesting.
All right.
One is something that people should always remember when it comes to a narcissist or a toxic person, a toxic manipulator.
Yes.
When it comes to a relationship, this works for both of those two. Proximity is power. Whoever you spend the most time around in your life, they will have an effect on your belief system that you don't give them credit for. Because you are dating them, you spend the most time with them. So they happen to have that proximity. And if they tend to, and that's where it kind of falls in also kind of to the Audrey thing right there. His belief system was kind of like already off. And it even goes, but I'm talking about Audrey 2, not Audrey 1. Because Audrey 2 was the one that pretty much incepted the idea of hey, kill the dentist.
That's Seymour too. Going. Seymour is put in a position where he's not only being manipulated by Audrey too, but Audrey. Both of these, because he sees both of them like, oh, I want them both in my life, both master manipulators, and we see what happens to him. Like, oh man! But how do you break? One of the big questions is, I don't know if we're going to try to get to it later, but how can you break out? Number one, how do you recognize it? And number two, how do you leave that situation, whether it be romantic or platonic or whatever the case is? Because in this case, we have Audrey too, who's kind of the wingman, right? And he's like, oh, you kind of got me everything I wanted. We have a job. I got the chick. Like, she's starting to send me hints. You're doing everything that I wanted you to do.
Well, see, the thing is, you got to be honest with yourself. One thing, that's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Always pay attention to, you might be in a phase where you're wearing rose-colored glasses.
At what point do you think Seymour should have been like, no, Audrey 2, no plant. I need to cut you out of my life. At what point do you think Seymour should have turned around and been like, Audrey 2, you're gone? Because obviously Audrey 2 is like the most toxic in his life at that particular moment.
I would say from jump when you realized you had to feed her your blood. I mean, before anyone else's. Because one thing I'm not going to do is self-mutilate or self-harm myself to betterment of someone else.
And put
Even
yourself
if it is
down.
my child, I am not going to go ahead and just, because, it's going to make her feel good, time to chop off my arm. If you like blood, let's see if we can get blood from an animal.
And the thing is,
let
you
me
can't
see
help,
if I can get pig's blood.
You can't help anyone else if you're giving everything you have away.
Exactly.
When you give your entire self away, there is nothing left.
Yeah.
So even in this relationship where Seymour is starting to give the blood, I could, first time he cuts it, and I'd be like, maybe, you're kind of like trying to process.
Yeah, now I know. But
when
now
he gets like so ridiculously fatigued and he's like, I have nothing left to give, I agree with you. He should have cut it off then and be like, this is no longer helpful for me. It's no longer, I need to take care of myself. And that's where that positive narcissism comes in, where it's like, self-help, self-growth, self-realization, you are literally draining me.
That's something that's like, you have to be able to watch out for yourself, protect yourself, and that's the way to do it.
And that's both physically and emotionally.
That's right.
So.
Always be cognitive of the choices you make and see how they work for everyone that's involved in the choice. If it's a choice where everyone wins but you, after a while, you got to start asking yourself, why is this the case?
Yeah.
Every
once in a while, you're a giver. You give and you take, and it's like not always going to be an even balance. But if you are giving significantly more than people are willing to return back to you, whether it be like just emotions or like support or whatever it might be, you got to cut and run.
That's it. Meet me halfway. Like we said at the beginning. I mean, if you're investing 100% of yourself in this relationship, but the other person's only investing 50%, well, then it's not even. You got to meet me halfway, and that's what I want you to do.
Sure.
It's not, okay, well, you went halfway, and then I continue to keep going. No, I'm looking back and wondering, why aren't you up here with me? So if that's the case, you need to reevaluate what's going on with the relationship. If the complaints outweigh the compliments, there's a situation.
Yes.
That's
and
what
to
I
be
always
aware of that, it's super difficult, but it is something that, with all of your relationships, with your parents, with your friends, with your significant other, you gotta start analyzing them.
Yeah.
And then after that, you gotta have that conversation, like we always say.
Always. It's a big thing. I mean,
if it's an abusive relationship, though, you might want to seek help so you can get out of there safely. Because
Indeed.
we see what happens with Audrey too, who is incredibly physically abusive, like actually eating people. Seymour is going to have a hard time stepping away, just like Audrey is having a hard time stepping away from the dentist.
Very true. Very true.
It's a very cyclical kind of trap that you get involved in when you get into master manipulators.
Trap.
Venus flytrap. Yeah, and it's one of those things where it is difficult. So when you look at this movie on a very serious level, it's kind of ridiculously sad.
It's a precautionary tale. It's a cautionary tale where it's like, hey, watch out for this. Do this. Think about yourself in these particular ways. Reevaluate how you see yourself and your own value system. There's a lot going on where it's like, when I say your own value system, what I really mean is how you value yourself. Because the thing is, if you don't really truly hold on to some level of value for you, you'll allow anyone else to be able to set what your value for you is. You'll allow someone else to tell you what your value is. You should always know what it is.
Yeah, I feel like that's the basic thing. Value yourself.
Now,
Be a little bit of a narcissist.
A little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit. Know that you're worth something, and don't let someone else tell you exactly how much you're worth. You should already know. Now, moving on back to the film, just a little bit before we even go, I have a what if.
All right, what you got?
Just a way to interpret the film.
I like that.
Now, Audrey 2 never spoke or ate anyone, and in reality, Seymour was just a serial killer. What if? What if that's it? Now, I'm going to give you a breakdown.
So Audrey 2, do we ever see Audrey 2 talking to anyone else minus Audrey on the phone call?
No.
Right, so that could be made up. So when you don't see anything, maybe Seymour is having that kind of schizophrenic.
I'm telling you, dude.
I'm already down with this.
Okay,
I'm already down with this. So Audrey 2
2
doesn't talk to anyone else. No one else really knows that Audrey 2 is like, yo, feed me.
And perfect example, the supper time song. On the time where Audrey's going to eat mushnik. It's talking to Seymour while Seymour's in another room. And Audrey 2 says, oh, he's got your number now. Oh, he figured out what's going on. It's time to end him. Let's go ahead and finish up this song. All these things saying to him, we're going to have to kill him. We're going to have to kill him. And it was that's very interesting because, you're in one room singing this, and I'm in another room, and I can only hear you, and Mushnik can't at all? Okay, something's going on. And I get
this is all in his head.
Exactly. What if that's the case? I know, hey, blah, blah, and it's a musical, so that happens, but just, follow me here, follow me there. Even when Audrey 2 calls Audrey 1 to eat her, first thing Audrey 1 says...
Seymour?
Yes. Yes, she hears the voice, and for her, it sounds like Seymour. What if, indeed, it was Seymour extending the call out? What if Audrey, once again, more of a figment of imagination or has to be a placeholder for the evil things that he actually does? So, he calls her, tells her to come over, she comes over, and he murders her.
Man, I love this deep dive analysis. I feel like we should start a whole separate show.
I started to think about it, and I was just writing down. Now, everyone Audrey 2 eats somehow mistreated Seymour. Somehow in a way.
Oh, so the revenge kind of mentality.
Where he needs an answer or a reasoning as to why every person can die. So this way, it's not something that he gets to blame himself for. He gets to say, this is just the way the universe works. They deserve to die. So this way, I don't feel guilty. What if he kind of reimagines things to feel better about himself? Like I said, he goes ahead and kills the...
Man, this whole psychological analysis on this is actually... I'm getting convinced.
See, and the question is, where's the truth? Where's the lie? And it's all there, and it's just something that you kind of... And you can use this same kind of thought process.
This is getting into, unreliable narrator.
Boom! Which is what we talked about before. Yeah. And that's how we mentioned that if you guys haven't seen The Joker... Definitely a good movie. There will be a moment where you're going to go ahead and think to yourself, where have I heard these kind of thought processes that Daniel's bringing up? You'll be thinking about it there because the whole unreliable narrator and you're not for sure what part is real, what part isn't, blah, blah. Imagine thinking about that when you watch this movie from now on. That's all I'm saying.
I like that.
That's it.
That was pretty cool. Do we have any wrap-up comments or any closing ideas?
Not really. I mean,
if you want to see bad relationships, this is a show to watch.
Definitely.
It's also really fun. It puts up in a very fun, kind of campy, kind of light. Great. It's really good for Halloween with that coming up. And if you want to look good for Halloween, I know a lot of people don't wear costumes. I don't know if I'm going to wear anything. Make sure to check out RT Public Store by going to that hashtag show.
That's right.
Searching for that hashtag show. We have amazing shirts, really great Power Ranger mashups. We have a Finster and Saw mashup for this month, and it is so ridiculously good.
And maybe if you're not interested in that one, you can also get Pineapple the Clown. We just came off of the heels of It Chapter 2, so that one works as well. So look into seeing something if you're trying to get into the season of Halloween. Still, those are things to go ahead and get, and I especially love Halloween now because the thing is, if Halloween doesn't necessarily fall on a weekend, that means that it continues going until that weekend that is after. So that's a great thing now. It's like everyone loves it that much. So there's still time for you to go ahead and order your shirt and get it out to you so you can go to any one of those things that you're happy to enjoy during this Halloween week. as I call it from now on. So head over to TeePublic and check that out. And while you are checking out some things online, one thing I definitely can suggest that you guys check out is our Patreon for Cosmic Protectors.
It is a Power Rangers fan-made comic book. It's going to be a motion comic and an audio drama. We're working extremely hard on it. We're trying to meet some deadlines, and any support that you can give will help us with that.
Definitely.
So check that out, and if not, go ahead and follow our Instagram page, Cosmic Protectors.
That's right. And once again, we want to thank you guys for joining us, spending time with us. We love spending time with you, and we love kind of going back and forth, sharing ideas, just trying to make our community better in every way possible. So once again, guys, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe to keep up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye, guys.